Welcome. So, in honor of Friday the 13th today, I said that I would read out one article that somebody suggested, and from Twitter, Facebook, and from the social groups on and the community groups here on YouTube, along with Patreon, I picked the following story to read. I hope you enjoy it. This story wasn't shared directly to our group for One Now, but it was shared on Facebook by a subscriber and fan of this page. Victoria shared a story from the LA Times. Murder of youth, age 17, brings horror films to life in Texas town. Panhandle, Texas. Mr. Milner has indicated a strong desire to die, and I intend to do all I can do to make his wishes be accommodated. David McCoy Carson, District Attorney. It was Friday the 13th, a steamy night in July, when 17-year-old Frankie Garcia was taken to a bar outside of an abandoned shack known locally as the Haunted House to meet his final death. Witnesses who found the body say Garcia apparently was forced to kneel in the dirt and taste the barrel of a high-powered rifle as his killer pulled the trigger. Local residents were shocked when word got out that the self-proclaimed Satanist had confessed to the murder. Kenneth Glenn Milner, age 19, admirer of Charles Manson and Jack the Ripper, has been charged with murdering Garcia, a former friend. He is also charged with the attempted murder of Kenneth Williams, his former high school principal, and Jimmy Britton, a former girlfriend's stepfather, all the same night. 2,300 people live in the farming town, worried that there will soon be other attacks. Parents closely watch their children, keep them off of dirt roads and from crisscrossing wheat fields in the region. There is a fear that there are more Satanists out there, said Linda Salas, who has 4 children. There are rumors that they are looking for blonde-haired, blue-eyeds to sacrifice. Milner has been held without bond in the Carson County Jail since his arrest the day after Garcia's killing. A killing a friend said Milner bragged about. He said he shot Williams and then said, "I finished off Frankie Garcia," said 16-year-old Kerry Horner. Then he took a gun out and shot a hole through the window of his car to prove he was serious. Carson County District Attorney David McCoy will seek the death penalty. Said Milner gave police a written confession in which he said he wanted to die. Mr. Milner has indicated a strong desire to die, and I intend to do all I can to see that his wishes are accommodated, McCoy said. Court-appointed defense attorneys Douglas Woodburn of Amarillo said the trial could begin as early as January, but he will likely seek a change of venue. There has been extensive publicity of the case in the Panhandle and small town, Woodburn said, and its common notion of fair play that everyone should start off a trial with no preconceived ideas of the case. As for the rumor that Satanists was involved, Woodburn said, "I don't think that's the guiding influence in his life, but I just don't know." Carson County Sheriff Terry Timmons would not permit an interview with Milner. Milner's parents, who run a bar called Shirley's just outside of the Panhandle, would not discuss the case or their only son. Milner's friends say he was obsessed with death and spent countless hours watching movies, reading books about Satan, and creating special effects like those used in slasher movies. He knew every horror movie by heart, said 18-year-old Katrina Powell, who lived next door to the Milners for 14 years. He would make masks of characters in the horror movies grotesque masks, like with blood and eyeballs hanging out. Greg Shackelford, 16, Milner's best friend, said his pal frequently discussed creating an illusion of shooting a person through the mouth. Milner imagined attaching a low powered plastic explosive to the back of someone's head, sticking a gun in their mouth, and simultaneously pulling the trigger and setting off the explosion to make it appear the person had been shot, Shackelford said. He wanted to know what it would look like, he said. Shackelford said Milner has a twisted sense of humor, loves to scare the hell out of people, and enjoys the notoriety. Milner's bedroom is lined with black, ghoulish posters from horror films, Shackelford said. He said the room also contains a clay corpse Milner made to test his principal sexual effects and to cast his own head, covered with a demon mask. Milner wrote Shackelford from his jail cell, chastising him, his best and close friend, for not writing. I'm not going to shoot you through the postal service, anything. He joked. Glenn wasn't normal, Shackelford said, but I don't think he's a Satanist either. Glenn reads the Bible from cover to cover. He reads books too, like the Necronomicon and stuff about astrological projects. He didn't know what to believe, so he would explore. The Necronomicon is a handbook of spells supposedly to summon the demons. Shackelford said Milner told him some of his heroes were Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, and Jack the Ripper. Glenn admired Jack the Ripper because he was never caught, he said. Friends and skill officials say Milner was well behaved student through grade school, but began showing signs of depression in high school. He started to drink, Katrina Powell said, and sometimes when he would get angry, he would slice up his arm with a knife. In the spring of 1988, Milner climbed to the top of the water tower and threatened to jump. Police talked him out of it. A few months later, while driving home, he ran his car over a cliff at the Palo Duro Canyon. After being treated for injuries, his friends say he was placed in a psychiatric care in Northwest Texas Hospital in Amarillo. The hospital refused to confirm Milner's stay. Glenn and I talked about the time he tried to kill himself a lot, Shackelford said. He did it because he wanted to know what it was like on the other side. An entry Milner wrote to Shackelford's high school yearbook the day before Garcia was killed led Shackelford to believe that Milner planned the alleged attack. Your wisdom and advice have helped me out many times, Milner wrote. Wish it could on the problem that I face now. Wish I could tell you, but you'll find out sooner or later. The entry was signed Damon, the misspelling name of the Antichrist in the series of horror films. He liked people to call him Damon, or Demon, Shackelford said. He liked people to take steps back when he introduced himself as Damon. Those who knew Garcia and Milner say they were not very good friends. Frankly, really got on Glenn's nerves, said Ron Dottie, 19, a companion of both. Frankie tried really hard to be everyone's friend. So Milner invited Garcia to go out on the town on Friday the 13th, and Garcia and Shackelford were skeptical. Glenn doesn't even like me, does he? Shackelford quoted Garcia as saying in a telephone conversation hours before he was shot. He just wants to take me out and pull a prank on me, scare the hell out of me. Police say Garcia was killed at 10 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. and Shackelford and Dottie noticed Milner speeding out of town. After catching up with Milner, Shackelford said he asked his friend what he was doing. Both Dottie and Shackelford recalled Milner responding, I just got done taking care of some business. I've got to take care of some more. Britton, whose stepdaughter, Jenny English, once dated Milner, said Milner slashed Britton's throat and arms with a straight razor shortly after 1 a.m. on July 14th. Jenny English and Milner began vomiting during the attack, allowing Britton to push him out the door and lock him out. 2 hours later, three shots from a .357 Magnum revolver through a storm door at Ken Williams, Milner's former high school principal. Williams was struck in the leg and abdomen. Authorities said that the other shot missed. Both Williams and Britton are recovering. Milner is not like the way Britton treated his stepdaughter, and he thought that Milner was spreading rumors that him and other kids at the high school, about him and the other kids at high school, Shackelford said. Milner was also behind a hit list of intended victims and a videotape detailing his motives and plans, according to friends who have been questioned by police. 4 days after the attack, State District Attorney Judge John T. Forbes placed a gag order on the attorneys and the investigators. Shackelford said he doubts whether Milner cares what happens to him now. I think he would have committed suicide eventually, Shackelford said. I think he wants to die. I think the death penalty will probably please him. So, again, happy Friday the 13th. And Victoria, thank you for sharing this story on Facebook. You have a great day today, and everyone else, stay safe out there. And you, Victoria.